Hello, everybody. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you today? That's every single time. Oh, I know. Hi, Dawn. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you were able to make it. I'm glad that everyone was able to find us. So sorry about that. I know. Our FND Warriors are always able to find us. We'll just wait until, how about we wait until 10 minutes past the hour when we said we would start it, just to make sure that everyone hops on over. Okay, how about you introduce it? Busy. Oh, you can't hear Elizabeth? I can hear you. Hmm. Very low. Muffled. Wow, we have 5 people watching. Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Okay, that should be better now. Can you let me know, Don?
Is it better now? Can you hear her now, Dawn? Talk, Elizabeth.
Hello. Yeah, I'm not even talking. I'm just waiting for. Like, what am I doing? Oh wow.
Oh, good,
Brain
good,
fart.
good. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Don. Okay. So I'll start again with the. Okay. Thank you. I'll start again with the presentation. I didn't get the right the right microphone. That's why. Um. So we everything is changing. So Ashley's getting a new employment, and I'm getting busier. Life is really giving us a lot of things to do. In No problem, Don. In the next few weeks. Well, looking forward. We thought about it, and we still want to give to the community with podcasts and with meetings and everything, but it's gonna change a little bit. So we'll have meetings on Saturdays instead of Wednesdays.
Wednesdays. Yep.
So that will happen at the same time, just not on Wednesday but Saturday. So 11 a.m. No,
Yeah, 11
yeah,
a.m.
11 a.m. Eastern time and 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Exactly. Yep.
So that, and then we won't be live anymore, but we will share. We will record beforehand and then share it to the video to the community. We will try to target once bi-weekly. Um,
Right now.
right now.
Right now, yeah. It's just
Yeah,
because we have a
exactly.
lot going on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm moving. Ashley is starting a new job, so we have a lot on our plates, and we want to make sure that we're not overwhelmed on top of everything else.
Yeah,
So
for
that's
right now.
yeah, that's the announcement for today. We still want to give as much as we can to the community, but it's sure that
And we hope that everybody understands.
yes, of course, of course. Um, I think they do. I think they do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can start with the podcast since it's
Yeah. So our topic today is life after diagnosis with FND. And my name is Ashley, and I am the co-founder of FND Warriors. And tonight, my friend and co-host Elisabeth and I will be discussing how to cope with life after FND diagnosis. We want to introduce our cause. We are a support group dedicated to educating, providing information, and guiding individuals through their FND journey. We understand that everyone's journey with functional neurological disorder is unique and often resembling a roller coaster of symptoms. Our mission is to raise awareness and make this condition more transparent so more people can get the help they need. We provide resources across multiple platforms and offer 24/7 chat on Discord for continuous support. So, what is functional neurological disorder? So, for everyone tuning in who doesn't know what it is, FND is a condition where the brain has trouble sending and receiving information correctly, leading to symptoms that can mimic neurological disorders such as strokes or multiple sclerosis. These symptoms may include things such as non-epileptic seizures, weakness or paralysis, or movement disorders. Unlike structural neurological diseases, FND arises from issues in brain function rather than physical damage. It is often linked to psychological stress or trauma, though it is not purely a psychiatric condition. Historically, FND was referred to as conversion disorder or hysteria, but modern research emphasizes its neurological basis.
Yeah.
Challenges in diagnosis and treatment. FND is not classified solely as a neurological or psychiatric condition. This can lead to patients being transferred between hospital departments without receiving proper care. There's only a few hospitals worldwide that have dedicated departments to research programs for FND. This highlights the need for greater awareness in medical advancements.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good summary. But there's
Mm-hmm.
still so much missing. Like FND is so wide that it's really hard to just say that like like it's caused like
It's
there's just a few
yeah,
symptoms
it's
or
so hard to put into like a little summary.
exactly.
It's yeah,
And
it's so hard just to summarize.
since it's affecting the signal between the brain and the body, I would say that any part of the body can be affected by it. It's not every, it's not the same for everybody, like we just said. But let's dig into tonight's topic, which is life after diagnosis. This is actually a highly relevant topic within our community because many people have been diagnosed with FND and are struggling to understand what comes next. They may feel lost, uncertain about treatment options, or unsure of how to manage symptoms effectively. So, was one of our highly highly recommended. Well, people voted for this subject a couple of weeks ago, and seems like
It was it
it
was a
was
very
needed.
highly, it was needed.
Yeah. So our goal tonight is to provide information, support, and practical strategies to help navigate life after diagnosis. We will discuss key aspects of FND, including symptoms, diagnosis, and coping mechanism, while we also share personal experiences to help those who are searching answers or a way to cope. A few like fun facts about FND is that FND is actually common. It accounts for approximately 5 to 10% neurology outpatient visits, which is a lot.
It's a
Um,
lot.
and like neurologists are always like, oh, we cannot do anything for you. Like it's not our department, but it's 5 to 10% of neurology
5 to 10%. That's a
visits.
lot. Like if you think about that in a day, how many patients do neurologists see? In 5 to 10% of that, that could be like 2 or 3 people a day that they
I
see, and
know,
they're telling 2 to 3 people a day, sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. What?
I know,
How
I
many
know.
people a week is that? How many people a month is that? How many people a year is that you're saying there's nothing that we can do for
Yeah,
you?
exactly. And FND like is like I would just said, it's common, but it's so unknown that it's very
Yeah.
hard to get the treatment we need because
Like if it's so common, how is it so unknown? And it highlights the fact that there needs to be more awareness,
yeah.
and it highlights the fact that we're doing exactly what we need to do, making the awareness and doing the
Well,
podcasts and doing what
yeah,
we're doing
of
to
course.
raise the awareness, because obviously someone's not doing what they should be doing and raising the
Well,
awareness if 5 to 10% of.
yeah, but the brain is such a mystery to
I
most of
know, I
the
yeah.
medical field. Like research is not really high. They don't really know how to get into that subject, and like there's not enough information. That's what's happening. But not also not a lot of people cares about it either. I would say that most of well, they don't, it's not they don't want to care, it's just that they don't know about it more. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
say that anybody doesn't care, but they like in medical school they won't talk about FND. So
No.
it's sure that if they don't know what it is or they don't have a specialty in neurology, most of them won't know what it is. So you might
No.
be the first patient with FND for that doctor, for that nurse, for that yes, Don. I believe I saw on FNDO post. I'm not
I saw
sure.
yesterday was on rare disease awareness, and FND is one of the most common rare diseases.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
believe that. I absolutely believe that, because if it's most common rare disease, how is it a rare disease if it's the most that doesn't make sense to me.
Most common rare disease. I like that.
like
I like
like
that.
I like, yeah, most common rare disease. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's rare for sure, but okay. But yeah, true. Uh,
Anyways,
so
let's move on.
yeah, exactly. It affects individual of all ages and gender. Uh, though it is more frequently diagnosed in women and younger adults. FND is a rule-in diagnosis, meaning it
And
is
let's highlight that.
yes,
Sorry
really
to cut you
important.
off. Yes, I want to highlight that, because I was very, very taken aback when I read that, because everything that I have read up up until I read this peer-reviewed article actually said that FND was a rule out diagnosis,
Yeah,
which
diagnosis by
basically,
exclusion.
by exclusion. So
Yes.
basically, it means that you have to rule everything else out before you can say that.
Yeah,
So you
it's
have to
FND.
rule out MS, you have to rule out TBI, you have to rule out this, you have to rule out that before you can say it's FND. But now they're saying that FND is actually a rule in diagnosis, meaning that it's based on positive clinical signs and not just by excluding other conditions. Right? I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No,
That's
it's
just my
fine.
nursing in me.
I I I get it,
I
and
totally stole your thunder there.
that's okay because I that's not what I experienced. I saw a neurologist one day and he went by exclusion and said that I have FND, based on only 2 symptoms, and that was it. I got diagnosed really early. But yeah, let's talk about that because that's our next subject. We want to share our personal stories of our on how we got diagnosed. So my I got diagnosed 3 years ago. Um, I just had a surgery. Got out of the surgery. Wasn't feeling my skin on my entire body. Everything was no sensation. That was very weird. I was like, something is off. I'll just try and see if it's gonna come back because I was under general anesthesia. So maybe it could come back or something, but it never did. And then about 10 days later, I had burning sensation in my legs to the point where they were just putting ice on my legs and nothing was working. Like all medication was barely doing anything. I was in so much pain. So I was still being followed by the neurosurgery team at that point, but they were like, we did MRIs, there's nothing, we cannot see anything. Something's up, like nothing is showing. So I saw a neurologist, and the neurologist just went into my room, did a few tests, like okay, like do you feel this, like when he's touching, or do you like so many questions and everything, and after maybe 10 minutes, he was like, well, if you don't feel anything on your chest, it's nothing linked to the nervous system itself. So he told me it's FND. I was like, what is that? I like he just told me it's FND, and I cannot help you because I don't deal with FND. And he gave me a website that I had to actually take a note of on my phone, and he just left. And I got a paper from him saying that I had a diagnosis, but no referral to anything because from his perspective, there's nothing they can do. So
Mm.
I didn't have any tests performed really, like other than just basic testing. They did try to rule out so many things after that with EEGs and stuff like that, but nothing came up. So they still think it's FND, and it does make sense. I'm just really I was just really surprised that he was able to diagnose me with FND with only 2 symptoms that I had for less than 10 days. I never had anything before that point, and he diagnosed me with that, and he was right. I was like, whoa. So, yeah. How did I feel during and after the process of that being diagnosed? I was very lost. I had no documentation. I just got out of the surgery, so I was and it was a pretty big surgery. Like I had a microdiscectomy of um of on my in my lumbar, so I couldn't walk properly after that. Like I had to recover from it. But I realized after a certain time that I was not able to walk certain days, and that I was very fatigue, and my legs were so weak compared of how they were before. And before, like, I was supposed to be near paralysis, but like uh, paralysis based on physical. What do you call that? Like when there's something wrong in your lower back and it causes paralysis. Because there's two types. There's the one that is created with FND, and there's the one that is actually just happening because. Do you know what I mean, Ashley? Or
No, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm trying to follow you.
okay,
So there's mechanical.
yeah, that like right before I went into surgery, they did the surgery because I was close to paralysis
Okay.
because of that car accident I was in.
Okay.
And my legs were giving out on me and everything. That was not paralysis from FND. That
Yeah.
was paralysis like from a physical problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. There's two different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I just, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have a choice to get into surgery, and then they gave me a paper, sign a paper. There's a 0.01% chance that something is gonna happen during the
Okay, yeah.
surgery, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And well, I
Yeah.
was the 0.01%,
0.01%.
and they were like,
Yeah.
"Well, we cannot do anything for you, so just go back home and you sign that paper, so you're not getting, like, you cannot sue us or you cannot do anything about it." So I felt really lost and hopeless because nobody wanted to help, and they were just like, well, deal with it. And a month
Yeah.
after my diagnosis was actually the worst time that I experienced in my life. I had no purpose. I could do nothing of my days. I was barely able to get out of bed. I was not doing great mentally. I was like, everything was falling apart. My partner was having a really hard time. My mom came to help, and that was I was very grateful she came, but that was a shit show. Um, like, it's just everything at the same time was very overwhelming,
Mm.
and yeah, I um I had a really hard time with at first, and it actually took a year, a good year, and I said, okay, I'm not gonna stay like that. Like, but I like a year of trying to find resources, try to get some help in any way, and I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, 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 no. I'm not staying like that. So I just started doing, uh, working on my mental health and trying to get coping mechanism and trying to find the tools to get a proper quality of life and everything. But yeah, that's about
Mm.
it for my diagnosis, and that was really hard. Um, what about you, Ashley?
Well, I have a little bit different story. You're 3 years out of diagnosis. I'm only a few months out of being diagnosed, but I have suffered a lot longer with
Yeah.
FND likely than you have. I think I've suffered with FND since about 2010, roughly. Um, I think that I got FND from a spinal tap when I was getting diagnosed with another medical condition that I have called idiopathic intracranial hypertension. that I have a shunt for. Before I had the shunt, they would do therapeutic spinal taps to relieve pressure around my brain, and they would take out spinal fluid because I would have too much, and I would be causing pressure. I would cause pressure around my brain. And in 2010, it's when they diagnosed me with that condition, and I had a spinal tap. They measured the pressure of in the spinal tap, and they took fluid out, but they took too much fluid out, and it caused a low pressure headache. And from that low pressure headache, and anyone who's ever had a low pressure headache, it's the worst headache that you can ever imagine. I literally was crawling on the floor to the bathroom. And it was for a week. It's basically until you build your spinal fluid back up. It makes you dizzy. It makes you disoriented. It makes you, you have to lay down, you sit up, and you want to vomit. It is the worst thing ever.
How do they know how much fluid they should get out?
It's basically the neurologist. They see what your pressure is, and then they just decide themselves how much fluid to take out.
Okay.
They just guesstimate.
Oh my god, okay.
Yeah, so they took out too much fluid. They took out way too much fluid that time, and
that probably happens with a lot of people then. Like, it's not even...
Yeah, it was the worst. It was the worst. And it was a whole week of me laying in my bed, and I don't think I got out of bed that entire week except to go to the bathroom, and I crawled to the bathroom. And anyways, I probably had, after that, about 100 therapeutic spinal taps over the course of 4 years before I saw a neurosurgeon who decided to put in a shunt, which then did the work of the spinal taps all the time, so I could stop having the therapeutic spinal taps, and my shunt did the work of it continuously. And so I had the shunt, but then I had 16 brain surgeries because shunts are notoriously finicky. They block, they break, they do many things. They're just finicky, and I had many surgeries for that. And
so how was your diagnosis confirmed?
Yes, so my diagnosis was so I basically, this past summer, I spent the entire summer every week going to the hospital, and they kept telling me that I was crazy and just to stop coming to the hospital, but I kept telling them, no, there's something wrong. I'm not feeling good. They would do blood work, and I would go home, and I would come back the next week, and at some point they finally did an MRI. The MRI came out normal. Ended up having to go. I live in the province of Quebec in Canada. Quebec stopped doing anything about my treatment, so I decided to go to Ontario to Ottawa to get treatment. And when I went to Ottawa, they did a whole litany of tests on me. They did an MRI, they did a CT scan, and they finally did an EMG test. They did nerve conductance studies on me, and when the nerve conductance studies came back normal, it was funny because, well, I don't speak French, I understand French, and the doctor and the tech were speaking, and they said TNF, which is FND in French. And I have a medical background, so I knew what FND was, and I said, no, I don't want it to be FND. And they said, you know what FND is? And I said, yes. And I said, no, I can't be FND.
Anything but FND, please. Anything.
Anything but FND. I don't want it to be FND. Because I had already kind of suspected that it was FND, but I said anything but FND. And so I went back, and then that's when a rheumatologist came to my bedside with a neurologist, and they told me that I had FND.
Yeah.
When I was at the bedside, they said that there wasn't really anything that they could do for me there at that hospital because I was in the wrong province, that I needed to go back to my own province and get treatment started there. So they wrote a letter to my psychiatrist, and I presented it to him, and he has been my godsend. He has medicated me properly for my pain. He has medicated me properly for other issues that has arisen. He has just been the best doctor, the only doctor that has listened, referred me properly when I told him that I had a seizure, where I was yelling fire, 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 which has
Wow.
happened after the fire
Traumatic
alarm that I
fire
got
drill.
stuck in,
Yeah.
the fire drill. Yeah. He got me into the EEG study. Like in 2 days, he got me into an EEG test.
Wow.
Uh,
That is actually a
and
good treatment. Like,
yeah, yeah,
you need to find that person who's gonna advocate for you and who's gonna understand and just try to get you somewhere with the treatments.
yeah,
You got it after what, a couple days?
yeah.
Uh,
It was only a couple days, and they did it on a Saturday, and they don't even do them on Saturdays. They had a tech come in on a Saturday to
wow.
do the test on a Saturday for me.
And I got it. I got people that understood what I was going through and that could really help me after 2 years. So
Yeah,
two different stories, two like,
completely different stories.
but same diagnosis.
Yeah.
So what? How did you feel during the process?
I don't know. uh,
I get it.
I I was all over the place because of my work issue that I was dealing with. I was dealing with um, healthcare issues, dealing with provincial healthcare issues. I was dealing with doctor issues, not doctors not listening to me.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of issues that I was dealing with.
Overwhelming.
I was overwhelming. I was dealing with so many issues at once that it was hard just to focus on anything. And all at this time, I was me and you were co-founding FND Warriors.
Yeah, it happened really fast
Yeah, it
for
really did.
that. That's nice because you got
Yeah,
diagnosed in August, right?
in August. Yeah,
And
and
then we
then
created in October. You
in
well, we created in
October.
October, like end of October. So you had like barely 2 months out of this.
Yep.
But so much
Yeah.
happened, like the job termination, everything kind of happened at the same time. So I get it that you got overwhelmed. It's just when you like, I had time to sit with myself and just be like, oh my god, I'm doomed. Like, what am I gonna do? Nobody's believing me. Nobody wants to do anything for it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
very glad you got the support you have
It was
very
because of
fast.
all of the warriors. It was all of the FND warriors.
But
I needed support.
yes, support groups are very important.
Yeah.
But you cannot go anywhere with FND if you don't have any medical professional that are with you in that. Because if you want to get disability, if you want to get anything to help you, you need to have a diagnosis. You need to have help in this um, medical system.
Exactly.
So that's how it can be very tough because some people cannot work anymore. Like I stopped working first day I was diagnosed, and I was fortunate that I was covered by the car insurance, but after 2 years they were like, oh no, it's not caused by the car accident, so whatever. But yeah, that's not the subject of today. So let's
Yeah.
continue.
So by sharing our experiences, we hope to provide some insight and reassurance that those who are newly diagnosed and looking for answers, you're not alone. And there are always ways to navigate this journey with the right support and information. Like Elisabeth said, two completely different stories, and I'm sure you have a completely different story than ours. Everybody has a completely different story, but you can get through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, proper diagnosis of FND. So, a proper diagnosis of FND relies on positive clinical signs rather than just ruling out other conditions, like
Like you said earlier.
like it used to be, like it used to be. That's all I'm gonna say. Like it used
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
This is essential to ensure patients receive the right treatment and avoid unnecessary tests or misdiagnoses. This key aspects of diagnosing FND include tremor, tremor entrainment test. A functional tremor changes or stops when the patient performs a voluntary rhythmic movement with another limb.
I do have that. Like, I can trick my brain. When I have a tremor, I can trick my brain with another limb and just. It stops. And I
That's
can go
cool.
from one to the other and it changes. And it's true that, like, if it's not FND, it wouldn't change from one to the other. It's just.
Hmm.
That's a good test.
Yeah. And then inconsistent symptoms. Symptoms that vary in severity or presentation in ways that do not match structural neurological diseases. Um,
Well,
so,
still true.
yeah,
It's a dynamic uh,
it's a
uh,
dynamic disorder.
disorder. We won't have all the symptoms all day, every day. We will. It's different for. Yeah, exactly, Don.
Perfect example.
Functional disorders.
Perfect example. In October, I was in a four-wheeled walker.
Yeah,
Today, I can walk unassisted with my in the accompaniment of my service dog Luna.
yeah, yeah. And you had so many seizures per day, and now it's not a
Yeah,
thing
I was
anymore.
having 8 to 10 seizures a day, and now I have none.
Yeah, so it goes from. And usually when you get diagnosed and when you get that diagnosis, your body is so overwhelmed by what you're going through that you might have more symptoms.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
like I remember I had two symptoms and then one after the other, like 1 month after the other I got a new symptoms. I got fainting, I got tremors, but I never got
well,
them at the same time. It's not like bang. It's more like, okay, well, and some stayed, some left, some are happening every month, some every 2 weeks. It really depends on how I deal with my day to day.
yeah, exactly. And it depends on the amount of stress, the amount of
Yes,
everything that's going on in your life.
exactly.
So, detailed patient history. Understanding potential triggers such as stress, trauma, or physical injury, though these are not always present.
Yeah, they do say that uh, you usually have trauma or some anxiety, depression prior to the diagnosis.
Hmm.
But it's not always the case. But it does. It it is usually included. I know that I have trauma, you have trauma, lots of people with FND have trauma, and we're all trying to get our head out of the water because we're so overwhelmed by everything. We are not able to manage our emotion. We when I got diagnosed, my mental health was very bad.
We don't even some of us aren't even able. Some of us aren't even able to identify our emotions.
Exactly. Well, I wasn't. I had that
Yep.
exercise with my therapist, and he was like, "Okay, well, what emotion did you feel when you were?" And I had no idea, no idea. So we were
Exactly.
taking that diagram or something of all the emotions, and I was like, "Okay, well, I feel
The
like
feelings wheel.
yeah, exactly that one." And the emotion that I was never able to get is anger. Anger, I had no way to know that it was anger because every time I was angry when I was young, I was dismissed. I was sent to my
Yep.
room. I was
Yep.
not able to live that feeling, so I didn't know what it was in
Mm-hmm.
general. So, yeah.
And then avoiding over reliance on normal test results. I feel like this is something that is they use
Hmm.
all the time. So
Yeah,
normal
that's
neuroimaging or electrophysiological findings do not rule out FND. Diagnosis should not be based on clinical
should
features.
be based on clinical.
Sorry, should be based on clinical features. My apologies.
Yeah, and it's
By
true.
rec-
Like most of the time, it's like, oh well, nothing is showing, so you probably have FND because we cannot find anything. How is that a
exactly,
proper diagnosis? I don't know.
right? Yeah. By recognizing these diagnostic criteria, healthcare providers can make a more accurate and timely diagnosis, ensuring that patients receive the appropriate support treatments early in their journey.
Yeah, yeah. What? Okay, so managing FND. What helps? For sure, communication does help, but it's important that patient must receive a clear, empathetic explanation of their diagnosis. That's something that is never really happening, and we're just lost in it when we get the diagnosis because they don't give us anything. It's essential to emphasize that symptoms are real, not not like in your head. It's all in your head. Dismissive, alienating. That does happen a lot. Usually, when people are
Mm-hmm.
trying to find answers, they're not gonna get any answer by telling them their symptoms because most of the time doctors are gonna be like, "You're seeking attention. It's all in your head. It's not. It's not real. Like, just stop and a lot of doctors are like, well, just let her do her thing. Like, with other people. Like, you're the one in the room that is not trustable because we're lying on our symptoms and what others should do around us, ignore our symptoms, ignore how we're feeling, ignore what is happening because it's not true. And that's usually how people are going to react to the unknown in general.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing. um, so good communication between you, healthcare providers, and your support network can reduce frustration and empower you to manage symptoms. Um, Also, the symptoms can fluctuate, so it's really important to have a clear dialogue, so that uh, we get an understanding from our doctors, from our family, from our loved ones. Uh, with one sec. Of course, David is calling.
Hmm.
Um. Okay. Oh my god.
Bad timing.
Right. Okay. One sec. I'll be back to it.
That's okay.
Okay,
So
so with doctors, explaining concisely helps. Um, because you need to, like, they want to, a doctor wants to have concrete, is that a word, concrete? Yeah.
yeah, concrete's a word.
But it's not. Oh my god. Okay, I got all mixed up. Do you want to continue?
Yeah, I can do. So, with doctors, so explaining symptoms concisely, it helps. So, for example, I get leg weakness after stress, not fatigue. Any tips? This specifically helps neurologists or therapists tailor advice. So, example, pacing or grounding techniques. So, this would be a good example because it explains it concisely, because it says that they get leg weakness after stress, not fatigue. And then it asks specifically for tips. So it's being it's being direct, it's being straightforward,
Yeah.
it's asking for the advice, it's saying what they need, and it's being concrete.
Yeah.
So then we go down to friends and family. We want to educate them briefly. So, for example, my brain misfires signals. It's real. It's not all in my head. Stress makes it worse, so I might need my quiet time. This builds empathy and reduces misunderstandings. Self advocacy at work. Try. I might need a short break if my vision blurs. It's FND, not slacking. Clear communication to avoid judgment. So this is important
This is
because,
important to be straightforward with everybody.
yes, and straightforward. You don't want to be, oh well, it's it's my FND. No, it's my FND. I have FND. You want to be straightforward. You want to be, like she said,
Advocating.
concrete. You
Yeah.
want to be advocating for yourself. You want to be determined. You want to be, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. There's a word I'm looking for, but just you want to be firm. You
Yeah.
want to be you want
Yeah.
to be like advocating for yourself. You just want to be very very just,
Like we said, the unknown
yeah,
is very hard to
understand.
understand for people.
Yeah,
So you need to be clear on how you live the things, so people can understand and empathize. Be firm, yeah, like Don said. That's really important.
exactly.
But also another thing that is really important is education.
And I and just sorry,
Yeah,
just to add one thing that I can add to this, and in my job searching that I've done recently,
yeah,
because it's very relevant. Um, I've had to be very firm in my job searching because I have to take Luna with me in my job searching, and a lot of employers have turned their nose up to me and said, "No, we're not even giving you an interview because of Luna." And it's been clear discrimination,
yeah.
clear cut discrimination. But
Just because they
I
don't
have,
get it.
because they don't get it. But I have been firm and I have been straightforward. And with this job that I've got, they have been so understanding. And I was firm with them and I said, I
Yeah.
need Luna. And they said, okay. And
Well,
you can work from home.
if you're bending for all of their demands, you won't thrive in your job whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like you won't be able to do the thing, like to be a good employee, because you need your own
You need to be like comfortable yourself.
yeah, exactly. And we know how Luna is helping you move around more, reducing the seizure, really helping. So Don said, be clear and briefly describe. Example, because my FND, I am having these issues and need a break. Yeah, totally agree with
Exactly.
Don.
Exactly.
So yeah, and education. It's really important uh, to understand FND because demystifying it reduce fear and self-blame. Knowledge about how the brain's wiring, not structure, cause symptoms, empowers you to experiment with coping strategies. Learn the basis. You need to learn what is the problem in your body so you can understand what is going on. FND stem from a software glitch. So when they're comparing brain and body, brain is the software, body is the hardware. The hardware is all working, the software is not. And that's where it's very hard. We should have a reset button, but we don't have it, you know? So we need to get our brain, our software retrain to do the things that should be done. So you can read, get information about FND, and you can also go on our website. There's a lot of information on our website on FND in general. Symptom tracking is another one that is very important. Um, Educate yourself on your patterns. Example, I notice loud noises spark my non-epileptic seizure. Maybe earplugs could help. The self-awareness is very helping with guiding practical solutions, because when you know what's triggering you, you can get the tools to avoid the triggers. You know, I have so many things. I know that wind in my face is triggering me to faint, so I have something on my face when I'm outside to cover my face so I don't get the wind in my face. Um, I get I light. Sometimes I have a hard time with light. I have my my sunglasses. Um, there's so many things. Like, I'm just talking about sensory right now, but there's so many triggers. Like your diet. I changed my old diet because I realized that milk was triggering my symptoms all day, every day, and now my symptoms are just triggered by stress and not just by everything I'm eating during a day. So I don't have symptoms all day long. I do have flare ups that I cannot I, I have to deal with, but it's not as bad anymore. Um Therapy insight. Uh CBT is a cognitive behavioral therapy. Our physio for FND often works better when you know why. Like CBT is retraining my brain to like my brain alarm system. So I'll stick with it. I'll just try to find like when you know what's happening, when you know what the the therapy is gonna do for you, you have a better view on what's going on and understand. You need to understand for sure what's happening to you,
Mm, yeah.
and there's so many ways to do that.
So then the multidisciplinary treatment approach. So there's lots of different uh, treatment approaches that you can take. So physiotherapy is one of them. So it helps retrain movement patterns for motor symptoms such as weakness and gait issues. So physiotherapy is really good. It really helps
Yeah.
build up strength and
True.
Yeah, it helps build strength back up. And again, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, it addresses unhelpful thought patterns and emotional triggers, as Elisabeth
Yes.
just said. There's psychology or psychiatry. It's a big factor within FND
Yeah.
community. It supports those with coexisting conditions such as anxiety, depression, PTSD, or other conditions.
Yes.
And then there's symptom-specific treatments, things such as functional seizures, so behavioral strategies to reduce frequency. So for me, I have functional seizures.
Yeah.
Um, there was so this is behavioral strategies to reduce frequency. There was a strategy for me, but it wasn't so much a behavioral strategy as in me getting Luna
Yeah.
to address my seizure reducing frequency, but it was just I got Luna to help me, but it just so happened that she reduced my seizures. Um,
Well, she does help because she's able to calm you down. She's able to
yeah,
get you back to something like behavioral
yeah.
strategies
You
are
were even
also
here, and you saw me. You saw her
yeah.
like come up to me whenever I was having and she was only 4 months old when you saw her, and you saw how she reacted to
And she
me.
was so aware of what's
Yeah,
happening to you. Dogs are
yeah,
good for that. They know when their owner is not feeling well. They know,
yeah.
and if they're trained really young, it's even better.
Yeah,
Um,
she's amazing.
she is.
She's a good puppy. She's sleeping right now on her orthopedic bed.
Oh, she loves sleeping.
All right, so then there's tremors or dystonia. So then things such as biofeedback or motor retraining would be helpful for that.
Yeah.
And then there's things such as avoiding unnecessary tests. So this is really important in the
Yes.
FND community because we have so many unnecessary tests, and there's things like MRIs and CT scans, and we're not MRIs, but CT scans were exposed to so much unnecessary radiation, which is something that me I know about because I'm medically trained, but it's something that I know about because I have had more than probably 50 to 75 CT scans in my
Yeah.
life, and I'm really worried about all of the radiation
Radiation.
that I've
Yeah.
been exposed to in my life, and
But
I'm just waiting for
it's
the
just
day that
that
I
yeah, it's just that honest like we don't have to get tested for things that are not even like sometimes they're trying to rule out and they're gonna do so many testing, do so many things, and it's just gonna trigger it because you're thinking about it and you're going
yeah,
you're trying to find a solution. You're trying to find some answers, and you don't you
yeah,
don't because they're unnecessary tests. So
exactly.
it I know that at the point where like they were trying to help me and everything, and after 2 years I was like okay, like they kind of left me alone.
You're
I
done.
was
You're
like
just done.
okay, I'll just go from there, and then I can recover now. I know that they cannot do anything for me. I have tried everything within the medical side of things.
Hmm.
So might as well just work on my mental health, work on
Yeah,
better LT behavior, LT patterns, LT like I went for walks. I really took care of myself at that point
I
because
love the pictures that I get from your morning walks with your dogs.
yes, yes, I'm back to it, and so I wasn't walking for like a month because I was moving and everything, and I had so
And
much
it's
going
so
on.
cold,
It
so
was
damn
so
cold.
cold. I couldn't. I couldn't. So
Yeah,
the moment it got a little warmer, I've been out every single day.
good,
It just helped me so much with my stress. I feel it reducing, the anxiety reducing when I'm walking. I
good,
feel that it's
good.
really helping me. So there are so many things you can do to help your nervous system calm down and to not be as overwhelmed. But these are all small steps and small things you can do on the daily. Um, so yeah, there are also other challenges with living with FND. Stigma and misunderstanding. Many patient and clinician misunderstand FND, leading to misdiagnosis and delayed treatment, which is a big one. Psychological perception. Some patients struggle to accept the diagnosis due to misconception about its psychological association. Um, I did accept my diagnosis now, but I was a long time without accepting it because I couldn't think I could I wasn't there yet, to be honest. But there are people that will never accept the diagnosis and they're gonna fight against it for the rest of their life. But it's really important to accept that you have this, you have a new life, you have new limitation, but you can still thrive in
Yeah,
some way. You know,
exactly.
I'm not the person I was anymore, but I am helping the community. I am doing things for myself. I am
I
doing
remember
small
you
things.
telling me that is one of the biggest things, one of the biggest reasons that you wanted to join in on this is that you just wanted to help the community.
Yes, I know. I know.
Yeah.
That was very important for me. I didn't know. I knew I wanted to help, but I didn't know how, and I didn't want to impose or anything. So I was just replying to people who were commenting on so many support groups, and I was just trying to spread some awareness and as much as I could. But I was very limited in my way of doing so. But
Yeah.
now I can. I like that podcast. I like that I can just share what I know, and it gives so much to other people. And I'm like,
Yeah.
good. Like take the information. It took me so long and so much work to get it all. So take it.
Yeah, so let's disseminate the information.
Like let it have it a little I would say that not easier, but like you can get some information without having to go to so many pages to go through
Yeah.
everything. You have that information ready right now, and we're trying to cover as much as we can. And I think it's really helping people.
You're like Grok. You're
Hey,
like the Grok.
I'm not gonna compare myself to an AI, but um, so yeah, access to care. It's many healthcare providers are unfamiliar with FND, as I said earlier, making it difficult to find proper treatment because they don't know what we have, so they don't even know where to go or where to refer us to. Like there one time my doctor referred me to a stroke specialist. There's
What? They thought
yeah.
you had like
No,
why?
but like, there's no reason. He was like, "What are you doing in my office right now? Like, you never had a stroke in your life." I like, I'm like, I know, but nobody knows where to send me to get like the treatment I need. So they're trying to get to me, and every treatment, it's like, okay, we'll try that, and then it takes 6 months to see that person, and that person is like, oh well, yeah, I cannot help you. It's not what I do for a living, and I'm like, oh well, let's go back to my
Great.
doctor and wait another 6 months to find someone else.
Great.
At some point, I was just going into I like I was waiting for the different the different. I'm having a brain fog today, guys.
You were
But
waiting for the different specialists?
well, different meetings with specialists, but every time I was going there, I was like, I'm not expecting anything from it anymore, because every time I was very
Disappointed?
disappointed in their answer. Every single time
Yeah.
I thought I was getting a like someone to help me, they were like, "Oh well, no." So I started looking for that hope or that solution or that person who could help me. I finally found someone. I found a neuropsychologist who had many patients with FND, and she referred me to the right people and everything. But to get there, it took me 2 years. Two
Yeah.
years of just going to one person to the other, and everybody had no like I was so lost in all of this, and but everybody was like that was that was not a good
I'm sorry.
place to be in general.
Well, let's talk about prognosis because
There is
there is
hope.
hope.
There is.
Yes, there is hope. While outcomes vary, early diagnosis and intervention can significantly improve recovery chances. Some cases can become chronic, particularly if it is left untreated or if coexisting conditions like depressions are left unaddressed. However, many individuals see improvements with the right support, education, and treatment.
Yeah,
Effective
and
management.
I actually saw a story this morning on our page, and there was a girl
Oh, did
who
you?
oh, she was not able to walk or anything, and then a few weeks later, like she got treatment right away, and a few weeks later she was back to horse riding, and she was back to like
Oh,
normal.
that's such a great story.
I know, and I haven't heard one of those in so long that I was like, good for you, amazing. Um when it's diagnosed and treated properly in a timely manner,
Yeah,
it works. Like it, we can go back from it. But like I said, it took me 2 years to get a treatment. It took you
yeah,
two like 10 years to get a diagnosis. So like
yeah.
it's sure that we
That's
have some damage from it.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. There's some damage. There's a lot of damage. And that's why effective management requires collaboration across neurology, psychology, and rehabilitation specialties.
Yes.
Educating patients and building trust are key to achieving successful outcomes. And that's why it's really important to not gaslight
Yes.
patients and not um, sorry,
You
I'm
need
having a
to
brain fog right
understand.
now.
You need to understand.
Yeah,
I wanna take a minute to explain to everybody like what a brain fog is. Like we usually call it FND brain or like,
brain, yeah. Yeah,
and it's how me and Ashley are, and we're doing that every single day. Like we cannot find our words, we cannot think properly. We have kind of, I call it the like a cloud that is just
yeah,
in my head, and it's just blurry. Everything is blurry. I cannot access what I need to access. I cannot access the word. I was saying
you know
something,
it. You
and
know it.
I
It's
know it,
there.
and yeah, exactly, but I cannot access it. I cannot go and reach it. That's the thing. And it's really frustrating because there's nothing we can do, and we're just trying. There's so many times I tried to describe to Ashley what I was trying to say, and she's like, I have no clue what you're trying to say. And I'm like,
Because I'm having brain fog too.
yeah. We're the team.
We're the team. Ha ha ha.
So yeah, it's hard to understand when you don't have it, but memory issues, brain fog, this is all real. When you try to explain it to other people, they're gonna look at you strange because they don't get how we cannot access part of our brains in like a split of a second. You know, I was able to talk. I'm not able to talk anymore. I had an idea. I cannot do that idea anymore. Don said yes. Brain fog, memory, concentration issues, word finding is a real problem for me too. I know, and it's like we have so many symptoms that sometimes, like most of the time, brain fog and memory is not even one of the symptoms we're gonna present to our doctors as a
No, I don't even
first
talk about,
symptom.
like, that's not even my presenting symptom. My presenting symptom is never brain fog.
No, exactly, because it's just one thing, like, and it's not. It is hard to deal with, but it's not like I don't have to change my life around it either. It's just
No.
hard, you know. Symptoms
Yeah.
I'm gonna say is fainting, tremors, like things that are gonna resonate with everybody, and
Yeah.
that they're gonna take me seriously because memory problem they're gonna be like, oh well, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is brain fog.
Yeah, that's
Um,
brain fog. Yeah.
yes. Let's go to practical coping strategies. Based on medical literature and patient experience, here are some ways to manage life after FND diagnosis. First, like we said, educate yourself, build a support network, work with neurologists, therapists, and peer group for ongoing support. Uh, I you need a team. You need a team around you that is gonna understand from uh, many point of views what you're going through. So you need a psychologist, you need a physiotherapist, and all of them are going to work together. You need a team.
PT,
Uh,
OT, psychiatry,
exactly, because
doctor,
you're
family
dealing with so
GP.
many things at the same time
Yeah.
that you do need many specialists. Um, it's important to focus on what you can control too. Um, I say a lot. Do what you can with what you have, and it's true because there's so many things we cannot control, and we are losing our freedom from it. Try to control what you can control. So small steps every day, small things that you can do on the daily, you know? And use therapy and rehabilitation to regain function, even if progress is slow. I know that I got better, but it took me years to get better, you know?
Yeah.
But there is hope. It's just that you need to retrain your whole brain, which is hard. Manage stress. Uh, every day I'm doing mindfulness, relaxation techniques. I try to have some hobbies to distract myself because this can reduce my symptom severity. Stress is a big trigger for for FND in general. So you need to manage it as much as you can. And that's why a therapist is a very good idea because you need to get coping mechanism to manage stress. And stay hopeful. Recovery varies, but evidence shows that many patients improve with time and appropriate intervention. So don't give up. Do what you can, and I do have flare ups, but overall, I'm doing better.
Hmm.
I'm not the same person as I was before, and I will probably never be. But I'm doing better, and that's what counts.
So, with that being said, FND is a challenging condition, but with education, treatment, and community support, patients can regain control over their lives.
Yeah.
No one has to go through this alone. By raising awareness and advocating for better treatment, we can create a brighter future for those living with FND. For more support, join us at FND Warriors. We're here to help you with every step of the way.
Yeah, all the links
That's
are
it for
in the description.
yes. That's it for this for that's it for this podcast. We're beyond grateful that you've taken the time to listen to us. Your support means the world to us. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, why not hit the subscribe button? Let's keep the good vibes going by smashing the like button too. Want to show even more love? Check out our merch and donation links in the description below. Every dollar is going to the creation of our nonprofit. And
Yes.
hey, if you're looking to connect with others who get it, our FND Warrior movement is waiting for you on Facebook. Join us. Let's make some memories and support each other. From all of us FND Warriors, a massive heartfelt thank you for tuning in. See you next podcast. Please like and subscribe.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you guys.
Have,
Yes,
have a
thank you
good
so
night
much.
or day of wherever you're from. And see you next
Yes.
time.
Yes, have a great day, night, wherever you are from, and thank you for tuning in.